A big lesson that God is teaching me in this season is learning how to be slow to anger. For so long, I've always been a person that believed that no one could really make me angry. And this was because, being raised a certain way, growing up a certain way, being in the lifestyle that I was in, the certain circumstances that I was in, there was really no room for feelings, especially anger. There was no room for me to feel anger at the time. So, because I suppressed these emotions for so long, I just assumed I was a person that couldn't get angry because there weren't many occasions where I would lash out or yell at people or just feel anger. And it wasn't until God started to heal me and heal those, childhood traumas and those issues that I grew up having that I realized that I actually had a lot of built up anger. And I would notice that I started to get triggered a lot. And this could look something like somebody saying something a certain way, somebody looking at me a certain way would trigger something in me to get high blood pressure, to react out of anger, to start yelling. And what's crazy is yelling is a big trigger for me. When I get yelled at, I go into panic attacks just being vulnerable. I go through panic attacks being yelled at. And I noticed that when I would get angry, I would be the one yelling. And just recently I, was having a conversation with someone close to me. And in this conversation, we were debating, we were having a disagreement. And the way I was reacting wasn't necessary. And they checked me on that, and they said, you don't have to react that way. Nobody should make you that angry. But, being in those moments, when you suffer from certain things, when you have certain mental disorders and, what I'm saying, you just have certain problems and triggers, you don't listen to people in those moments. So when they say certain things, you kind of can't comprehend what they're trying to say until afterwards. So my response to what they said wasn't really valid because what I said was, if you were in a room with somebody that said, I'll pay you $1,000,000 if I can't make you angry, most people would lose. Most people would go insane. Most people would have rage. And this person said, no, I don't believe that. I believe that if somebody can make you that angry, that's something within you that you have to fix. And I really couldn't comprehend what they were trying to say in that moment until after we finished the conversation and I calmed myself down, because in those moments I get so triggered to where my blood pressure is rising. My heart beats so fast, like I am that triggered. And I do believe that it's symptoms of BPD, and I feel as though God is trying to heal that in me instead of me feeling like I have to go to a doctor to heal me or take medication or, take certain drugs. God is saying it's fixable. You can fix your anger. You have to figure out where the triggers are coming from. And even if I can't identify what the trigger exactly is, because sometimes I don't know where the trigger came from. I don't. Sometimes I randomly split and it can happen in a second. And I'm just noticing that God is healing that in me and allowing me to feel that I'm angry, but understanding that the situation usually isn't that deep to be this angry. And the situation usually gets triggered and it triggers me back to childhood of not having a say so, of not, not having anybody to really talk to, not being able to express your emotions because life goes on. There were too many situations that had to be worried about to where I couldn't feel at the moment. So now the fact that I'm feeling and I'm learning how to feel, it's hard to regulate my emotions and understand how to calm them. And I'm just learning that no matter what the situation is, there's no reason to be angry. I want to get to a point where I don't allow anyone to make me angry. Like, I don't even budge. You know what I'm saying? And I think God is just healing that in me and really allowing me to see myself and face myself. And as uncomfortable as it is, it's actually healing because it's hard to acknowledge, wow, I didn't have to react that way. And I have to actually apologize to the people that I hurt or the people that I talked to a certain way, or that I'm distant with because they trigger something in me from childhood. They trigger these abandonment wounds. They trigger something that, I was told as a child, whatever the case may be. They trigger something in me that didn't have anything to do with the conversation we were having. And again, God is just teaching me to be slow to anger and getting me to understand that if somebody can make you angry, they already have power over you. They can make you do anything in that moment. In a moment of anger, you can do a lot of bad things. You can react in bad ways. You can make decisions that you didn't intend to make. But because you allowed that anger to take over, you didn't regulate it, you didn't calm it down, you didn't notice what triggered it, you didn't notice that it was a temporary feeling. You allowed for a permanent decision to happen. So if you don't learn how to regulate your emotions, you're going to continue to hurt people because the way that you react or the way that you talk or the way that you look after a certain situation when it usually isn't that deep. The situation itself isn't that deep. Yes, the trigger goes back to something serious, but the conversations are never that deep. And I don't know who needed to hear that, but just understanding that anger is not a permanent feeling, okay? That's very temporary. And if we just acknowledge that we're angry in the moment and don't allow that angry feeling to take over our life and to dictate our decisions, it's going to save us in the long run. Because now you're noticing feelings aren't real. All these feelings that I feel, they're not real. It's not the truth. I can feel anger, but I'm not an angry person. God is just teaching me that if you can get angry, if you can allow other people to make you angry and react on that anger, you don't have control over your life. You have to learn to regulate that. You have to learn to say, you know what, as long as I'm feeling this, it's valid to feel, but it's not truth. And allow those feelings to pass because they're temporary. So yeah, I don't know who needed to hear that, but that's something that I've been suffering with. And, for a while I thought it was uncurable. I thought, I have this mental disorder. I have BPD. This is something that's not curable. And God is saying it's curable. Come to me. Give me it. Give me what you feel. Give me the burden. Give me it. I want to handle it. I don't want you to have to handle it on your own. I'm going to guide you. I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to put you in positions. I'm going to put you in conversations to where I'm going to test you. And that's your opportunity to calm your emotions, to feel your high blood pressure, to feel your heartbeat racing, and to calm it, to breathe in those moments, to process instead of reacting. And I've been learning to do that. God has been healing that in me. So where I have conversations, and the more and more that I have these difficult conversations, or these conversations where I feel like I'm not being listened to, or I feel neglected, or I feel like this person doesn't understand me, I'm regulating my feelings. Even if it's truth, I'm understanding I don't have to be angry at the truth. And I'm just learning to see the blessing in God being able to handle it and giving it up to God. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to take care of it. And God is saying, I want it. Give it to me. I can handle it. Because I know you can't handle it by yourself. And that's the struggle that I had because, growing up, all I knew was doing stuff myself, figuring out myself. That's what I trained myself to do. So being able to give it up to God and being led by God and being led by something other than yourself, that's hard. It's hard to have trust and faith in something that you don't have physical proof of. But just understanding that I do have that faith. I have 100% faith in God. And He wants to take care of the situation. So give it up to Him. And He'll figure out ways to heal it. Because for so long I thought, this is not curable. This is just a mental disorder that can't be cured. And God said, hand it to me. And I'll show you that it's healed. It's fixable. And now He's presenting situations to where I can regulate my emotions. So many of us think that when we ask God of something, that He's just gonna hand it to us. No, He's gonna allow situations to happen. He's gonna provide opportunities so that you can fix that situation. So if I say, God, I don't want to be angry anymore, He's not gonna just magically disappear my anger. No, He's gonna put me in situations that allow me to regulate my emotions so that I no longer get angry. And I'm just so blessed to be able to say that God got me. You know what I'm saying? Like He has the situation. I don't have to handle it by myself. For so long, thinking that I had to do it myself. I got it. If nobody else got it, I got it. No, God said, I got it. Give it to me. You think I can't handle it? I got it. Give me it. I will carry it. I'll carry your cross. I don't know who needs to hear that, but whoever's struggling with similar situations, give it up to God. Like He wants it. And it's such a blessing to be able to say, God has me. Like He has my back to where I can give it up to Him and He will take care of it. He will present opportunities so that I can fix this situation. I don't want to do it myself. I don't want to lean on my own understanding. I want to lean on God's understanding, God's will for me. I want Him to fix it. I don't want to go to doctors to tell me that I had this mental disorder. I don't want to go to therapy. I want God to be my therapist. So again, I don't know who need to hear that, but pray on it, give it up to God, and continue to have faith that He has it and He knows what He's doing. Lean on Him. So pray on that message if that spoke to you. Love you guys and have a good day.